something that I actually want to talk about because one of the more popular clips of me on this channel is me yelling at Michigan State basketball for being a bunch of frauds. I stand by that video. However, Michigan State basketball has really turned it on as of late. First of all, they've won 8 of their last 10. Right now, they're winning against Iowa. They got a very slim lead here in the first half, but a lead nonetheless. Malik Hall, in that span in the last 10 games, has 16 points a game. Jaden Akins as well. He's been turning it on as of late. And my question about this team is it actually possible that they really can make a run? Given the fact that college basketball this year has been an absolute nonsense factor. Purdue, just this weekend, loses to Ohio State, who just fired their coach. And, oh, yeah, we're just going to beat, the best team in the country. No big. We're going to beat the best team in the Big Ten. I believe they were ranked number 1 at that point. And I understand that college basketball is always that sport of anybody can win any game. I don't care I don't care if you're the worst ranked team in the country. If you play, if you just get hot, and it's anybody's game, is my entire point. But Michigan State, obviously, they started this season very high hopes. They were ranked number 4 going into the year, and then they lose in heartbreaking fashion in overtime to James Madison. One of the worst games I've ever had to watch. And then they just go on this span where, they win a couple of fake games there, just like I predicted. And then they lose to Duke, and they lose to Wisconsin, and they lose to Nebraska, and you're like, all right, here we go. Here we go again. Michigan State's going to have another awful year where they may not even make the tournament. And they beat Baylor. And you're like, oh, so that's the team we were looking for. Baylor just a couple of years removed from a national championship. Obviously a very, very successful program. Still, I believe, at the time they were ranked number 6. I don't know where they are right now. Then they go and they beat a bunch of random teams. They beat some team called Indiana State. And Indiana State is actually having a pretty good year this year, which is weird. Then they go and they beat Penn State and they lose to Northwestern because I don't know what Northwestern has on us. The past few years Northwestern has beaten us every year, especially on the road. I don't know how. And they lose to Illinois and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Big Ten play starts and Michigan State starts to fall apart. And then they go on another winning streak. They beat Rutgers, they beat Minnesota, they beat Maryland. You're like, oh, maybe we're back. And then they lose to Wisconsin, but then they beat Michigan. And you're like, hey, we beat our rival. That feels good. And then they beat Maryland. You're like, ah. And then they lose an absolute choke job of a game against Minnesota, a game that they absolutely should have won. I was furious with them that week. And then they go on another win streak, and then we're here. They beat Illinois, a number 10 ranked team in the country at the time that they played them. They beat Penn State on the road. They beat Michigan on the road. Rivalry game, a close game. They held Michigan to no points in the final 7 minutes of the game or something like that. Their defense just absolutely – and, well, Michigan, that's a whole other you guys had your flowers in the national championship game in football, but my goodness, Michigan is one of the worst basketball programs in the country. I take great joy in it. I hope Michigan loses I hope they never win another basketball game. But right now they're losing to Illinois. Now they're losing to Iowa. Michigan State is set up, looking at their schedule, looking at the rest of it, and I don't know, assuming they can come back and win this game. It's still very early, down just 2, or down 3, I should say. 24-21 right now is where the score is at. But they have Iowa at home here. Maybe they could win this game. They got Ohio State on Sunday. They have their toughest game to go is going to be on the road against Purdue in a couple of weeks here. Or not a couple of weeks. Not this Saturday, a week from this Saturday. Then they get Northwestern at home. Then they go on the road to Indiana, and then you're on to the Big Ten tournament. I don't know that they're going to live up to that number 4 ranked team expectations. And frankly, the way they're playing this game right now against Iowa, I got a feeling we're going to be in for a little bit of disappointment. A little bit of disappointment come March. However, they have the makings of a team that could, in theory, go a little bit farther than I think myself and maybe other people give them credit for when you just look at the raw numbers. They have a lot of high quality guard play in Malik Hall, in Walker, in Akins, and Hogan. Or wait, is Hall might be a power forward. I don't remember what position he plays. Hold on, now I gotta look that up. Hall is not is he a guard? No, he's too big to be a guard. Watch him actually be a guard. No, he's a forward. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. But you have high level guard play from Hogard, from Walker, and from Akins. You got 3 vet guards, vets as in upperclassmen. You even have some young guys stepping up, playing some decent ball. You got Trey Holloman playing all right. You have what's his name, Carson Cooper, who looks like he's starting to turn things around a little bit as a center because Madi Sissoko is less than ideal. We'll just put it that way. Obviously, we already talked about Malik Hall, Cohen Carr. He can't make a jump shot to save his life, but hey, he's a lot of fun. He can dunk. He can get the blocks. That's about it. He doesn't really do much else. But yeah, they're starting to get Xavier Booker involved a little bit more. I'm just saying, if they can go out the rest of this year, they have just 5 games left in the season. If they can go out, if they can win 4 out of 5, they'll have my attention. If they can win 5 out of 5, then they'll really have my attention. Even if they win 3 out of 5, let's say they win. Let's say they win all the games at home, right? They go undefeated at home down the stretch, and they lose the 2 games on the road, which not ideal, but either way, I can at least understand it, especially the way teams have played at home and on the road before. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that game. That was a high-scoring game. Jeez, 112 to 106. I guess it went to overtime still. Either way, my whole diatribe here is that I'm cautiously optimistic about Michigan State basketball right now. Now, right now, they're losing this game. Hopefully, they can pull the comeback off. I don't doubt that they could. Although Walker just missed a jump shot, and it looks like there's going to be out of bounds. So Michigan State's going to keep the ball. But it's the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, well, college basketball is really bad this year. Not as in like the quality of the games are bad. Although, I mean, I've watched pretty much only Michigan State basketball, and so I might be a little biased in that. As far as the teams, there's like UConn and there's everybody else. I don't even trust Purdue. And Purdue is apparently having a really good year. I really don't. It's like if UConn can get eliminated, then basically it's anybody's game. Meanwhile, Xavier Booker just got an M1, so that's good to see. So it used to be that every 4 years for Michigan State, you'd make the Final Four. I mean, you can go back, you can look at their program record. It's like 2016, or I might be wrong on the years. 2018, 2014, 2010. You just go back years and years, and every time you'd have a Final Four run. And I don't think that any one of these players on Michigan State are NBA caliber players. I really don't. I don't think Carson Cooper's an NBA player. I don't think our best player, Tyson Walker, I don't think he's an NBA player. But it's the fact that they're all playing sort of in tandem. When Walker has a bad game, Jaden Akins steps up. When Akins has a bad game, Hogard steps up. When Hogard has a bad game, Walker steps up. When Hall has a bad game, I don't know, Carson Cooper has a great game. I don't know. Somebody steps up. And, the more that you see this team get hot, and it's Tom Izzo, and Tom Izzo teams play better down the stretch, or at least in theory they're supposed to, the more that it becomes a little bit more realistic that they could do something here in the tournament. I didn't expect them to make the Sweet 16 last year. And in theory, this was supposed to be a better team than the team last year. More experienced. Certainly more drive from guys like Malik Hall, like Tyson Walker, who know it's their final chance to get a Final Four run here at Michigan State. So, I don't know. Something to keep an eye out for. Like I said, slow news week. What do you want from me? We're talking college basketball on a Tuesday evening. What do you want from me?
Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.